Meghan Markle sat at the view table on a rainy Thursday morning, her posture crisp, her smile the kind you practice until you forget what your real one looks like. The hush in the audience felt tight, like everyone knew this was going to be more than just a friendly chat about charity work and Netflix specials. Whoopi Goldberg's smile was polite, but her eyes were already sharp. She leaned forward, folding her hands on the table like she was ready to cut through the script. Meghan, you've been called a lot of things these past few years. Victim, opportunist, hero, grifter. Which one do you actually believe? The hush popped like a balloon, a few awkward laughs from the audience, but nobody clapped. Meghan's fingers twitched where they rested on her lap. She gave a soft, practiced laugh. I think people say what they need to say to feel better about not understanding my choices. Joy Behar raised an eyebrow, her grin wide and glinting. So you don't see yourself as a victim? Meghan's eyes flicked to Joy, then back to Whoopi. No, I see myself as someone who survived a family that didn't protect me and a system that wanted to chew me up. The hush crept in tighter. Sunny Hostin shifted in her chair, trying to thread the tension with something softer. But Meghan, don't you think people get tired of hearing about it? The royal family, the press, the drama. Whoopi held up her hand to stop Sunny. Her voice dropped, calm as a blade under silk. What people want, Meghan, is the truth, not the press version. Yours. Meghan's jaw twitched, just for a heartbeat, but enough for the hush to catch it. The truth is I spoke up because no one else would. Whoopi's smile thinned. Or you spoke up because you knew you'd get paid. A gasp shot through the studio, low and sharp, the hush splitting like dry wood. Meghan's mouth fell open for half a second before she pressed it into a tight line. Her voice cracked, but she kept it steady. Excuse me. Whoopi didn't blink. Come on, Meghan. The interviews, the documentaries, the memoirs. How many times can you sell the same pain before it just looks like business? Sarah flinched, the only one at the table who looked ready to crawl under it. Whoopi, that's. But the hush swallowed her protest. All eyes were locked on Meghan, who sat so still the air felt like it might shatter if she breathed too loud. Whoopi leaned back, her tone low and final. People want to know if you're healing or if you're hustling. Meghan's fingers curled into fists on her lap. The hush waited for her to explode or to break. Either would have made good TV. She didn't do either. Yet, Meghan's lips parted like she was searching for words that wouldn't taste like blood. The hush pressed in, everyone waiting for the Duchess to break the way they'd read about 1,000 times in headlines. Joy tilted her head, voice syrupy, but her grin cut like a blade. Whoopi's got a point though, Meghan. How many interviews does it take to convince people you're the victim and everyone else is the villain? Sunny winced, her eyes darting to Meghan's clenched fists. Joy, come on. But Meghan's eyes snapped to Joy now, her practiced smile gone. You know what's exhausting? Watching grown women profit off tearing down another woman for ratings. That's the real hustle, isn't it? The hush popped. A single clap cracked from the back row before dying in the tension that wrapped the studio like a rope pulled too tight. Whoopi raised an eyebrow, her tone calm but colder than before. Is that what you think this is? You sitting here, cashing in on the pain you say you hate, but never seem to stop talking about. Meghan leaned forward, her voice lowering to a dangerous quiet that made the hush lean in too. No, Whoopi. This is me showing up in places that profit off my name whether I speak or not. Joy laughed, brittle and sharp. So now you're the hero for showing up? Meghan's jaw flexed. No, I'm the woman who keeps showing up even when people like you try to make sure I never want to again. The hush trembled. A small wave of rolled through the audience, someone in the front row nodding with a look that said she's got you there. Whoopi folded her arms, voice thick with the kind of calm that hides the storm. You ever wonder, Meghan, if maybe the problem isn't everyone else? Meghan blinked, the mask slipping for just a heartbeat. Excuse me. Whoopi didn't flinch. Maybe the problem is that you want the crown without the cost. The hush bent under a low gasp. Even Joy looked sideways at Whoopi, half shocked she'd said it out loud. Meghan's laugh came out raw, a sound that didn't know if it was anger or grief. You know what? Maybe the problem is I thought women like you would understand what it costs to be chewed up by people who think they own you. Sarah's eyes shone, voice soft. Meghan, you don't have to. Meghan cut her off without looking away from Whoopi. I know exactly what I have to do. The hush thickened, every heartbeat in the room waiting to see if she'd sit back or stand up and leave every piece of this behind. Meghan's breath hitched so softly you'd miss it if you weren't listening for cracks in the armor. But the hush caught it, clung to it, turned it into the sharpest sound in the room. Joy leaned forward, her grin bitter as stale wine. What's the matter, Meghan? Not used to people asking questions you can't script? You want us to sit here and clap like you're saving the world every time you tell the same sad story? Meghan's eyes flicked to Joy, her voice low, each word too calm to be safe. I'd rather you sit here and admit you don't care about the truth. You just want me messy enough to make you look interesting. Sunny's fingers gripped her mug so tight her knuckles went pale. Maybe we should take a break. Whoopi cut her off, her eyes still locked on Meghan's. No break. You wanted this conversation, Meghan. Don't run now. Meghan's laugh cracked, just once. Run? Whoopi, I've spent 5 years standing in front of knives people like you keep throwing while pretending you're just asking questions. Whoopi raised her brow, unbothered. Then stand a little longer. You say you're real. Prove it. Tell people something real they haven't heard rehearsed 1,000 times. A small gasp rippled through the hush. Someone in the back row muttered, "Wow," under their breath. The tension felt so tight, you could almost see it shimmering in the air. Meghan's eyes glistened, not with tears she'd ever let fall here, but with fury she wasn't bothering to hide anymore. You want something real? Here's real. The truth doesn't sell. The lie does. The pain does. You don't want to talk about healing. You want a headline. Joy smirked. You'd know, sweetheart. Meghan turned so sharply Joy flinched. Yeah, I'd know. Because I keep showing up while women like you cash the check every time you mock me for having the guts to speak. A pocket of claps started, then fizzled, the hush holding its breath for the blow that might never come. Whoopi's smile stayed thin, voice cool as a judge's gavel. So what now? You gonna storm out, Meghan? Make this your big moment. Meghan's shoulders dropped, the mask gone for good. No, I'm gonna leave because I'm done giving you people another second of my life. The hush snapped, gasps, a burst of claps, the tension spilling out of the studio walls like someone had kicked the last stone out of the dam. Joy's pen dropped from her fingers. Good luck, princess. Meghan didn't bother to look back. Keep it, Joy. You'll need it more than I ever will. Meghan pushed her chair back, the screech of the legs tearing straight through the hush like a warning shot. She didn't bother to smooth her hair, didn't force the smile back on. She just stood there, every inch of her spine saying, I don't need this table to tell my story. Joy barked out a laugh that fell flat the second it hit the audience. Run away then. Run back to your castle, or your Netflix set, or whatever playground you're using next. Meghan didn't even glance at her. Her eyes stayed locked on Whoopi, calm now, but with that dangerous edge of someone who'd learned exactly how to bleed without giving up her pulse. You wanted real, Whoopi? Here it is. I don't owe you my pain to make your point. A pocket of the audience clapped, not everyone, but enough to drown out the tiny TSK of Joy's tongue clicking in her teeth. Sunny's voice cracked, trying to catch the moment before it slipped through her hands. Meghan, you don't have to do this. Meghan turned to her, softer than she'd been all morning. No, Sunny, you don't have to do this. You don't have to sit here and let people tell you who you're allowed to be. Whoopi crossed her arms, the faintest flicker of something, maybe regret, maybe not, passing through her eyes. You think walking out makes you brave? Meghan's laugh was gentle this time, but it carried like thunder under the hush. No, surviving you makes me brave. She stepped back, heels clicking across the polished floor like punctuation marks she didn't need permission to use. The hush cracked wide as the front row rose to their feet, clapping in that raw, awkward way that said they weren't sure if they should, but they did it anyway. Joy just sat there, her smirk frozen in place like it might cover the bruises Meghan's words had left behind. At the edge of the lights, half-shadowed now, Meghan turned for one last shot. Not cruel, but so real it carved out the hush for good. When a woman tells you she's done, believe her. And watch who you call a victim. because we're the ones who always come back stronger. And with that, Meghan walked off the stage. No handlers, no tears, no looking back at the table that would replay her name like gossip, even as she closed the door behind her. The hush stayed behind like a stain Joy couldn't laugh away.